Morning. A large tour bus waited outside the school gate. The class was leaving for a 3-day field trip. Students laughed and loaded their bags into the luggage compartment. Emily stood nearby, scrolling through her phone. She had lived in Japan for almost a year now. Long enough to know everyone in class. Long enough to know their faces, their personalities, their habits, which is why, looking back later, Emily could never remember exactly when the feeling started. The homeroom teacher raised a clipboard. All right, attendance. Names were called. Students answered, one after another. The list reached the end. The teacher nodded. Good, everyone's here. Nobody thought anything of it. Emily didn't either, at least not yet. But just after everyone boarded the bus, a student raised a hand. Aren't there not enough seats? The driver looked back. The teacher checked. Huh? For a brief moment, the atmosphere froze. Then the teacher shrugged. We can just use the fold-down seat. The driver nodded. No problem. A spare seat was pulled out into the aisle. Someone sat down. Emily watched from the window. Something about it felt wrong. But she couldn't explain why. The bus departed. The ride was loud. Snacks, games, pictures, laughter. Emily got bored, so she started counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. She counted every student. 32. Emily frowned. 32? She counted again. 32. Huh? She opened the trip itinerary. Number of students attending. 31. She checked again. 31. Again. 31. That's weird. She looked around. Every face was familiar. Tanaka, the class president, the soccer team kids, everyone she knew. And yet, there were 32 students on the bus. Emily decided she must have counted wrong. That had to be it. By evening, they arrived at a lodge deep in the mountains. Students carried their bags inside. In the lobby, Emily overheard the teacher speaking to the front desk. Excuse me. We LL need one extra set of bedding. The receptionist nodded. Of course. As if it were completely normal. Emily stopped walking. Extra? Why? There should only be 31 students. Then again, she had counted 32. But who was the extra one? She looked around. Every classmate was there. Every face was familiar. Nobody looked out of place. Yet the teacher had clearly requested another bed, as though it had always been necessary. That night, everyone else was having fun. Emily sat alone staring at her phone. She had photographed the class roster earlier. 31 names. No matter how many times she checked. 31. Then she opened the room assignment sheet. She counted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Room after room. Then her finger stopped. 32. What? She counted again. 32. The rooms were assigned for 32 students, but the roster listed only 31. It made no sense. Emily left her room. She checked every room herself. Again, 32 students. One too many, but no matter how hard she looked, she couldn't figure out who it was. In fact, the more she looked, the more everyone seemed exactly where they belonged. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. 32, 31, 32, 31. The numbers repeated in her mind. Then, for the first time, a thought crossed her mind. What if I'm the only one who notices? The next morning, Emily woke up exhausted. While walking to breakfast, she opened a group photo taken the day before. She zoomed in. Face after face. Everyone she knew. Every single one. And yet, 32 people. No matter how many times she counted, the result never changed. At breakfast, she asked casually, "How many students are in our class?" 31. Tanaka answered immediately. 31. Yeah, 31. Everyone gave the same answer. Without hesitation, Emily fell silent, because sitting in that dining hall, she could swear there were 32. The second night, after lights out, Emily slipped down to the lobby. She had to know. A printed class photo was hanging on the wall. A souvenir from the trip. She stepped closer. Counted. 32. Definitely 32. But something strange happened. Every time she looked at the photo, a different student seemed suspicious. Maybe it was her. No, maybe him. Wait, not them. Someone else. The answer kept changing, as if the photograph itself refused to reveal the truth. A chill ran down her spine. Then a voice spoke behind her. "Can't sleep?" Emily turned. It was the teacher. She pointed at the photo. "Sir, how many students are in our class?" The teacher looked confused. 31. Then, without even looking at the picture, he added, "See? 31. Emily froze, because the photo clearly showed 32. The trip ended the following day. Back at school, Emily immediately checked her phone. Bus photos, 31. Breakfast photos, 31. Class photos, 31. Her breath caught in her throat. Yesterday, there had been 32. She had counted them, over and over. She was certain. But now, every piece of evidence was gone. The next morning, homeroom began as usual. The teacher closed the attendance book. "Good. Everyone's here." Emily's heart nearly stopped. The exact same words, the exact same tone, the exact same voice. Slowly, she looked around the classroom. 31 students. No mistake. Only 31. Yet, somehow, her eyes kept drifting toward an empty desk near the back window. Nobody sat there, but she remembered someone. A boy? A girl? She couldn't remember. Not a face, not a name, only a feeling. During those 3 days, someone had been there, laughing, talking, standing in every photo. But the harder she tried to remember, the faster the memory crumbled. Emily lowered her eyes. A single white flower sat in a vase on the desk. For a brief second, beyond the flower, she thought she saw someone's legs. Emily looked up instantly. Nobody was there. Only 31 students remained. But even years later, she never doubted what she saw. On that field trip, there had been 32.